The milk problem in St. Louis is the research findings of two investigators, Moore and Weiss. Through their research, they were able to successfully identify the milk supply as a main cause of infant morbidity and mortality in St. Louis in the early 1900s. During their investigation of childhood sickness, the researchers studied the city milk supply. Using epidemiology, they identified 5 key problems in the production and distribution of milk that were factors of disease. First, the dairy farms were uninspected and unsanitary. The researchers visited dairy farms within 100 miles of the city and found that many of the farms had dirt floors, no drainage, and high prevalence of bovine tuberculosis. Second, there was a delay in delivery to customers. The milk was shipped on slow local trains from up to 100 miles away. By the time the milk was transported from the dairy farm to the milk plant to the city, the milk was already 2 to 3 days old. Third, the train cars used to transport the milk to the city lacked cooling. In the summer months, there was no protection from the heat except for the train roof. Fourth, pasteurization was largely unregulated and the process varied across city milk plants. And finally, the distribution plants were unsanitary. To support their claims, the researchers illustrated the prevalence of disease through morbidity and mortality data for infants in St. Louis for both 1909 and 1910. The investigators utilized evidence-based research that linked impure milk to cases of scarlet fever, diphtheria, and tuberculosis. They not only studied the milk supply of St. Louis, but also utilized data from other large U.S. cities such as New York, Boston, D.C., and San Francisco. By breaking down elements of the St. Louis milk industry into production, distribution, and consumption, the researchers identified multiple sources of evidence. They synthesized their findings and provided recommendations to regulate a large industry. The thorough investigation allowed Moore and Weiss to provide recommendations for the prevention of disease and improvement of the milk industry in St. Louis.